State regime media known as Fox, they're in panic mode. I want to show you the anatomy of how they try to cover up for Donald Trump, spread disinformation, and how they try to brainwash their audience. Let's just go through this together because they went into overdrive for Donald Trump when Donald Trump had this dementia-like moment. And I don't want to let him off the hook by saying, oh, it's just dementia. But Donald Trump had that moment where he was like, I spoke to Gavin Newsom a day ago when they spoke on June 7th. Boom, Fox had to go into overdrive and convince their audience that June 9th, a day ago from June 10th, was actually June 7th. Because California Governor Gavin Newsom had said, yes, I spoke to Donald Trump on June 7th, and we spoke for about 20 minutes, and Donald Trump didn't talk about the National Guard at all. It was really weird. I was speaking to Donald Trump. He wanted to act like he was my buddy. He was talking about every topic other than the National Guard, and I was trying to ask him what the hell's going on. He was just talking about other topics. So Donald Trump makes up a fake conversation with Newsom, the same way Donald Trump makes up fake everything. Oh, I spoke to Xi Jinping and I told him that it's not humiliating that you're giving me a call, right? Because Donald Trump had to call Xi Jinping. And so it's just bizarre to lie about literally everything. But state regime media, Fox, they've got to cover it. So let me just show you the anatomy of all of it. What are they doing? So state regime media, Fox, they have Greg Gutfeld. And just look, he's like, I don't even know what that he has like toys in front of him while he's giving his newscast. What the hell's even going on there? And he goes, these are the Biden riots. What we're seeing is the Biden riots. And then the Chiron says, violent anti-ICE rioters caused mayhem in LA. Here, watch this.
We see why Trump is necessary because who are the rioters? Remember the tens of thousands of men that flowed across the border, almost all entirely men. Where did they go? I mean, I guess some were deported, but most of them, they're not deported yet. So, I mean, these are the Biden riots.
And again, in 99% of LA, this is not going on, number one. Number two, these were overwhelmingly peaceful protests before Donald Trump escalated this and brought in the National Guard and then the Marines. And Donald Trump tried to provoke this community. ICE raids at Home Depots and in factories, in courthouses, by schools, going through restaurants, ripping people apart, disappearing children like a totalitarian regime, not going after the criminals. We all want to go after the criminals. Go after the criminals. But they're going after the hardworking migrants who have been here, who pay their taxes, who are members of the community. It is absolutely vile. It is absolutely despicable. Now, it's the Biden riots during Donald Trump's regime while Donald Trump's in office. It's interesting that all of these things happen when Trump's in office, the arsonist. Then let me go and fix the problems. He creates the trade war. Let me try to solve it. We need to get those rare earth minerals back from China. They were coming in until you declared a trade war against the world and put the United States in the weakest position possible. Like, you create the problems, then you want to solve your own problems, and you don't do it. And then you want, good job, Donald. Let state regime media. It's just so utterly ridiculous. Then you have Jesse Waters playing a clip of Democratic lawmakers saying they stand in solidarity with residents of LA, immigrants, and only the peaceful protesters. Yet the Chiron reads, Dems choose rioters over you. That's what they're saying. Dems choose rioters over you. I want you to see the brainwashing that's in effect. Play this clip.
Right there says it all. So guess what side the Democrats are on?
Let me be clear. Congressional Democrats stand in full solidarity with the residents of Los Angeles, with our immigrant sisters and brothers, and with the peaceful protesters who dare to speak out and who will support every effort to oppose this president's abuse of power.
Democrats are telling cops to stand down and rioters to stand up.
Then Laura Ingraham brings on Kevin McCarthy, the completely failed, spineless former Speaker of the House. And their message on Fox to other state regime media, ABC, is Our message to you, ABC, is you did the right thing by firing Terry Moran, who had the audacity of saying that Stephen Miller and Donald Trump have hate in their heart for disappearing 4-year-olds and taking away mothers who are breastfeeding with their children, ripping them apart. How dare you, ABC political correspondent Terry Moran? And Fox goes, good work. Pat on the back to our fellow state regime media. Play this clip.
Now I'm going to do something I haven't done before. ABC did the right thing. Good job, ABC. You know what? Because this person has probably never even met Stephen Miller. And to say that, he's sitting there at midnight, putting that out, telling exactly what he truly thinks. How does he report the news every day? You know what he goes about, taints it, puts it his own beliefs in there. It's something we've been fighting for years. And now they finally stood up and said, yes, enough is enough.
Now, we put out a strong message here on the Midas Touch Network to Terry Moran that you've got a place, you've got a home here at the Midas Touch Network if you want. Then Laura Ingraham says, I want to remind everyone tonight that if Democrats had their way, they would let this all continue. Hey, Laura, guess what? This wasn't happening when Democrats were in charge. This wasn't taking place. So you could create your hypothetical dystopian straw man world and attack that. But this is the Trump regime where guess what's happening, Laura? Where prices are up, where there's no peace in Ukraine, where America is weaker and being laughed at by the world, where Trump is sending the Marines to attack Americans and people living in America, Laura. That's what's going on here. Play this clip.
I want to remind everyone tonight, if Democrats had their way, they would let all of this continue. They wouldn't intervene on the 101, which if you know LA at all, if the 101 is blocked, the whole city is strangled. And the surrounding parts of the city, of the main city, of the downtown, LA County, the ripple effects across the region, I can't overstate it enough as someone who's lived in LA.
More propaganda from Kevin McCarthy. They're sitting there having their American flag saying they want to stay in America. They say this is Mexico. They want their land back. They're saying this is Mexico. What the hell are you talking about? Play this clip.
Your native California, it's getting real there.
It's getting very real. And people should
give us
listen
your
to
take.
Well, you should listen to what the protesters are saying, and they're not protesters, they're rioters. And they're not sitting there having American flags saying they want to stay in America, they want to become an American. They say this is Mexico, they're going to take their land back, and they hold Mexican flag.
Look, starting a new business can be intimidating. I get it. Midas Touch Network was not built overnight. You need the tools to help you engage in the day-to-day tasks, the growth. And so it's why we use Shopify. It made things easy for us. And I think you should use Shopify too. So Shopify is a commerce platform. It is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the United States. From household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands like the Midas Touch Network. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style, accelerate your content creation. Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. Get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Even if you don't, easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling to the Midas Touch Network. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert. And with its world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond, you can count on Shopify. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. So turn your big business idea into boom, boom, boom with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Midas. Go to shopify.com/Midas. One more time. That's shopify.com/Midas. Then you have Fox anchor John Roberts suggesting that law enforcement is showing a lot of restraint, as Liz Power says, by not shooting the protesters. As Carl Quintanilla says, strangely, Roberts doesn't name the democracies that he says shoot to kill the protesters. That's where Fox is. We should be so fortunate that the Trump regime Gestapo is not killing the protesters, the peaceful protesters. In other democracies, you would be killed. What the hell are you talking about? Here, play this clip.
Yeah, I was just going to say the district attorney for Los Angeles County, Nathan Hochman, who was on Fox and Friends just a little while ago, says he's going to prosecute these folks to the fullest extent of the law. But some of these people we see hurling bricks at officers from overpasses or throwing them at cars as they're passing by. And there are plenty of democratic countries in this world that I can think of where doing something like that, Senator, would get you shot. So there would seem to be a fair degree of restraint being practiced by these officers and these National Guard soldiers.
Well, I don't think we ought to shoot them unless they try to hurt somebody, but I think we ought to put them in jail and give them a long time to think about what they did.
And next, Jesse Waters plays a clip that's been edited to exclude the part where Donald Trump says he called Newsom a day ago, and then shows a Trump call log that Trump gave to John Roberts at Fox, showing that he and Donald Trump spoke on Friday, and then they go, Newsom's a liar. Why would Newsom lie that they didn't have a phone call? Newsom said they didn't have a phone call a day ago, because they didn't have a phone call a day ago. As Brian Tyler Cohen, our friend over here, says, so I guess we're going to see a lawsuit against Fox under the Trump precedent of zero tolerance for deceptively edited interviews. And this one was actually deceptively edited. Watch this.
Called him up to tell him, got to do a better job. He's doing a bad job, causing a lot of death and a lot of potential death. If we didn't send out the National Guard, and last time we gave him a little additional help, you would have, Los Angeles would be burning right now. The radical left, it's usually radical left, and it's usually governors that are Democrat, and they don't want to call them in. They don't want to save lives. They don't want to save property. They don't want to call them in. I don't know what it is.
Newsom responded, and he said there wasn't a phone call. He said Trump never called him. Not even a voicemail, he said. But John Roberts got Trump's call logs, and it shows Trump called him late Friday night, and they talked for 16 minutes. Why would Newsom lie and claim Trump never called him? Why would he do that?
Because let's take a look at the actual video that Newsom was responding to, where Donald Trump said the last time he spoke to Governor Newsom was, quote, a day ago. And I told him, you're causing a lot of death. Okay, there's been no death so far, and you didn't call him a day ago. Newsom was called on June 7th. And by the way, you know where there's lots of death that you don't respond to? All of those storms that have hit Kentucky and Mississippi and Missouri and Indiana and Georgia and North Carolina. Across the country, dozens of Americans have died. You didn't mention it. You didn't talk about the 4 American soldiers who died in Lithuania. Were they suckers and losers, Donald, to you? Or the 2 soldiers who died at the border as you sent our troops to the border by Mexico? 2 troops died, 1 person seriously injured. You didn't say anything about that. Were they suckers and losers also? How about the fact that the National Guard, Donald, was sleeping on the floor in Los Angeles because he didn't give them beds or pillows, and they didn't have the resources to even sleep anywhere. But anyway, play this clip.
When is the last time you spoke with Governor Newsom?
A day ago. Called him up to tell him, got to do a better job. He's doing a bad job, causing a lot of death and a lot of potential death. If we didn't send out the National Guard, and last time we gave him a little additional help, you would have, Los Angeles would be burning right now. Los Angeles would be not a lot different than what you saw take place in California and Los Angeles just a little while ago.
So then notice how Donald Trump pivots. And he's like, I presented the phone call to Fox. I said I spoke to Newsom in the past few days. No, you didn't. You said you spoke to him a day ago. And in situations, actual numbers, like the actual facts matter. A day ago is not 4 days ago or 3.5 days ago. A day ago is yesterday. So stop with the bullshit. Play this clip.
Governor Newsom said he did not speak to you a day ago, as you said, in the Oval Office earlier. What's your response to that?
Well, I gave him, it wasn't a day ago, it was a little longer than that, and I presented the phone conversation to Fox News, John Roberts and Molly Line at Fox News, because they were the ones that said it. And we actually spent 16 point something minutes on the phone.
and I told him he's got to get his act together because you're going to have some bad times in Los Angeles if he doesn't. We had a pleasant conversation. The proof was from the phone company.
Because here is from a few days ago, where Governor Newsom voluntarily said, I spoke with Trump for about 20 minutes. He never brought up the National Guard. Watch this.
Just 10 minutes ago, he put out another Truth Social telling you and the mayor to apologize to the people of Los Angeles. You guys go at it pretty hard publicly, but I know you talk privately. Have you spoken in the last couple of days to the president about any of this?
Yeah, we talked for almost 20 minutes, and this issue never came up. I mean, I kept trying to talk about LA. He wanted to talk about all these other issues. We had a very decent conversation.
When was this?
This was late Friday night. I think about 1:30 plus his time.
After the protests had started here.
After the protests, and he never once brought up the National Guard. He's a stone cold liar. He said he did. Stone cold liar. Never did. It was a very civil conversation. I've always wanted to approach engagement with the President of the United States in a respectful and responsible way. But there's no working with the president. There's only working for him. And I will never work for Donald Trump.
And so now you have all of the MAGA disinformation influencers like Eric Dowdy goes, breaking, new phone logs dispute Gavin Newsom's lie that President Trump never called him. This was obtained by John Roberts at Fox directly from President Trump's phone. There was no call, not even a voicemail, Newsom says. The log shows the date and time. The log shows June 7th, 2025. That's what it shows. Multiple days ago, not a day ago. And then John Roberts has to then basically sit, like, notice how John Roberts then from Fox then pivots his language. And he's like, and Donald Trump said a day ago or a few days ago. No, he said a day ago. Stop bending. This is what I've always said. I go, if Donald Trump says the sky is pink, they'll go, the sky's actually pink today. This make up stuff. Here's John Roberts. Play this clip.
Gavin Newsom, after President Trump said in the noon hour in the Oval Office that he called him yesterday or the other day, Gavin Newsom tweeted the following. He said, quote, there was no call.
And I think California Governor Gavin Newsom's been showing such incredible leadership. And his press office responds to, because in Trump's phone it says Newsom. And then Governor Newsom goes, thought it was Newscom, Mr. President. Oh, and by the way, this call's from 3 days ago. Mic drop. Anyway, hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers. Thank you for watching.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 1 million followers.